Howdy, 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 and welcome to the SportsterProject.com YouTube channel. I'm Hersey, and we're here in the garage, and I'm working on my 1990 Sportster, working to get it back on the road. While I headed up on the lift to replace some of the parts and pieces that I robbed to get the 88 Sportster on the road, I noticed a pretty serious fork leak. Can't see it on the video, but it actually leaked a bunch of fork oil down the tubes and onto the lift. Excuse me. So I'm going to replace the seals and the forks and basically rebuild the front forks. So we're just going to walk through doing that. I've already removed the front fender, the wheel, the brake, all that good stuff, the axle. It's out of the way. So now what we're going to do, we're just going to take the forks, the lowers and the tubes out of the triple tree. So that's a 5/16 wrench, and we'll just loosen those up. They're in there. They should be in there at about 30 foot-pounds, so it's not too terrible to get them loose. You don't have to take these bolts all the way out. You just loosen them up enough for the tube to kind of work free, and then it'll just slide right out. You just slide it out. That's one, and then we'll get the other side, same thing, 2 5/16 Allen bolts, get them loose. There we go, the top one, it can slide right out. So now that we've got those the two forks removed, so what I'll start doing is start disassembling these, and we're going to walk through that in this video. So with the forks off the bike, we're going to start disassembling them. A couple of things. One, it's going to get kind of messy, so I'll have a bucket just to drain your fork oil in. You're going to need a 6mm hex on a long extension so that you can get into this to remove that bottom bolt. And you're going to need an 1 3/8 at least on this 90 Sportster to remove that top cap bolt. Going to need a punch or a screwdriver to be able to take the dust cover off, and then that's pretty much the tools we'll need here. So first things first, leave the top cap on. There's a spring in there. It's keeping some pressure on the bottom damper to hold that in place so it doesn't just spin inside when you're trying to take this bolt out. Depending on how long it's been together, depending on how long or how hard you'll have to work on this, but it's a 6mm hex, and you just, there we go. And we don't want to take it all the way out yet, we just want to loosen it. And then what we'll do is we'll move to the top cap. I've already got some fork oil coming out the bottom since we loosened that up, so I'll set this in here. Now, the top cap, depending on how tight it is, sometimes it's a bit easier to loosen it while you've got it on the bike. In this case, I took it off. We're just going to hold it and hope for the best. So let's see, that's tight. Make sure you're loosening it. Get a little something to get a grip here. And then we just loosen that out. Now, be careful with this because there is a spring under there. It is under tension. If you're too quick or you let loose of it, it can fly across the room. So just keep a hold on it. We're almost there. Yep, and there it goes. And there's the top cap right there. Then you'll see here's the spring. So you pull the spring out. And now is what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn it over in the bucket to try to drain the majority of the fork fluid out. It might get a little messy. There's that damper and that spring. And there the tube starts to slide out. What we need to do now, oops. Be careful how you mess with this because there is fluid in there. Looks like I pulled that screw all the way out. So now we need to take the dust cover and the seal out. And again, Just kind of watch what you're doing so that you don't end up with fork oil all over the place. Get in here and see if I can get this the rest of the way out. It looks like that bolt actually fell out. Where did I miss it? Oh, there it is. I did. I had loosened it too much. I had actually pulled it out. So anyway, it's out. It's going to get replaced. No big deal. Now is what we'll do is we need to take that chrome cover off. So just with a punch and some kind of hammer. There's a little notch in the lower. You just get under that, give it a couple of little taps, and then that chrome cover should pretty much just kind of pop off. Grab a screwdriver real quick, and we'll just pop it the rest of the way. Maybe. There we go. That chrome cover slides off. And under that, you'll see the dust seal. And same thing with the dust seal. Just get a screwdriver. All of this is getting replaced. So it doesn't really matter if you screw it up. Let me get me a smaller screwdriver with a longer handle. We just need to get under that dust cover and pop it out. So now the dust cover's out. That's going to go in the trash. Inside here is your seal, and then there's a clip. There's supposed to be a clip holding in your seal, and guess what? Could be one of the reasons why it's leaking. Doesn't appear that there's a clip in there. So there's a little ridge that the clip fits in to kind of hold the seal in place. Well, it's not in there. Then all we got to do is just pop it, and there's a couple of bushings, and then a big kind of seat for the that keeps it straight in there, and then the seal, and the seal will just come off. The seal is actually on this installed upside down as well. So not only, no, it was right. Sorry, but there was no clip holding that seal in. So that is disassembling that side. So that's one side of the fork. So one of the fork lowers and tubes is disassembled, and then it'll get I'll get it cleaned up, and then we'll put it back together. And I'll also get the other one disassembled and cleaned up so we can put it back together. I'm going to do that off video. So get the other one disassembled, cleaned up, and then we'll be back when we're ready to start putting them back together. All right, so I got both forks disassembled, and they're laid out here, and we're going to start putting them back together. So I picked up this fork seal kit from JP Cycles. I'll link that down in the description. It's a complete kit, comes with all the stuff you need to rebuild the seals and dust covers, all of the rubber parts and pieces, and the clip that was missing from the one that we took apart, and then a new bottom bolt with a copper seal on that. So we'll get all this put together. First thing I'm going to do on this bottom damper, I'm going to put the new plastic bushing on there. It just snaps on there, and that's good to go. Now is what we'll do is on the top cap, the kit comes with a new O-ring for the top cap, so we'll get that in place. Those are the two easy things. Now we'll get the forks put back together. So we take this, drop it down in here, boom, out the bottom, and then this cap, which was inside there, goes on there. All right. Now we slide this back into the lower, and that this bushing here that's on the tube will fit into that seat there in the lower. Just slide this in here. Whoop. You don't want that to fall off. You want to be careful to keep that in place while you slide it down the tube. And we'll slide that all the way to the end. Take the bottom bolt, and we're just going to kind of get it started, right? So we don't, again, we're not going to tighten this all the way up yet. Just get it in there, and now this should not come apart. All right, so that's in there. We're going to retighten it. We're going to tighten it some more later. That washer, this washer here, excuse me, this washer here sits between that bushing and the seal, so that make sure that's down in there. And then we're going to take the new seal, and there is a top and a bottom, and you can kind of see there's no lip around here, but there is a lip here. So this is the top. So there's the underside of the seal, doesn't have that lip, and then the top side of the seal has that lip around it. So we just slide this down the tube, get it on there, slide it down the tube, and then I have a tool for this. It's from Motion Pro. It's a 39 millimeter fork sealant driver. You could use a piece of PVC pipe. I've seen people do it that way. The tool does make it really easy. You just set it on there and just knock the seal down in place. And it's what you've got to do is drive the seal far enough in that you can get this clip in the lip around the top of the seal. It's a couple good hits. And I think we're in there. Let me grab a flashlight. It's kind of, with the way the lights are, kind of hard to see. Nope, gotta go just a hair bit more. All right, and I can see that lip all the way around. So then the seal or the clip, you drop it down, compress it. Basically, if you get that back end in first, and then you can kind of, don't get your towel in the way. Just take a screwdriver. We'll get her in there. And then you want to make sure that it pops down in that groove all the way around. And there you go. So then that clip now, I don't know if you can see that too well, is in a groove all the way around that's then holding the seal in. The next thing is the rubber dust cover, which is also included in the kit. We'll drop that down. Use my seal driver. Just kind of get it into place. And you'll see it just sits on flush around that lip there, flush around the seal. It's just a dust cover. And then we'll install the decorative dust cover, which is just that chrome dust cover. Again, just take the seal driver or PVC, whatever you're using to seat the seals, to kind of tap that into place. Just make sure it's in there nice and solid. And there we go. So now we'll put the spring in. And then we'll put the top on. Now, it's going to take, there we go. I just pulled the fork fully extended, so I don't have to compress the spring as much. And then we'll just get the top nut. Grab the inch and 3/8. We'll put the new O-ring on the top nut and then to get it on there. So we'll tighten that the rest of the way down here in a second, but what I'm going to do is that bottom bolt with that copper seal, I'm just going to give it a tighten. Now that we have the top nut on, and it's ready to be installed back on the bike. Now once I put it back on the bike, I'll end up probably taking the top nut, well, I'm going to have to take the top nut off and then putting the fork oil in it. For this bike with stock forks, I'm looking at the repair manual right now. The fork fluid dry, so filling it up when it doesn't have any fluid in it, is 10.2 ounces. So I'll end up putting 10.2 ounces of fork oil in each of the forks once I get them back on the bike. So I'm going to put the other one back together off camera. I mean, it's just repeating the same process that we just went through to get this one assembled. Going to link the fork seal, dust cover, and cover driver down in the description below, and also the seal kit from JP Cycles, the 39mm seal kit that comes with all the pieces and parts you need to get things put back together. So I'm going to repeat this process for the other side, get them put back on the bike, get 10.2 ounces of fork oil in them, get the front wheel, fender, and brake back on, and we should be ready to go. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. Hopefully you found this the information in this video useful. So if you did, please like it, please share, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification button so you know when I post the next video. Thanks a lot. Until next time, build, tinker, and ride.